What's up? What's up? Gons here with another video. Today we are going to do a breakdown of a track that I did that was very inspired by a dope producer named Burial. Shout out to Burial. And it's something that I just was kind of in this mode of trying to go really left field with some production and listen to one of Burial's tracks, Archangel, which is phenomenal. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out. It really inspired me to create this track using a sample from an awesome producer named Waves. So we're going to get right into it. So the sample is, and you can find it on TrackLib. I'll try to link that as well if you want to mess with it there. It's called Haha, basically. And I'm just going to go ahead and just play what it is so you know what's going on here. Let me move this over. So yeah, I'm just going to play the sample in its entirety so you can kind of understand what's going on. Very piano heavy. Yeah, so that's the sample. I did a lot of chops on this one for my own amount of chops that I will typically do. And I took off the Kickstart processing because that sidechain was a little crazy. So I'm going to click on this here. And what I should do so you can see it better is put my Pro Mouse on. Best $5 I ever spent on App Store. There we go. And with Kickstart, again, it's a sidechain plugin, so you can kind of hear a pumping effect. What I also did was I made another copy of this. I'm actually going to go through my chops and make it a little bit easier. Go. Take this off here. Again, this little freeze option that's right here is if you want to not have the playhead continually move. So as an example, with this little freeze, if I don't have it on, I can make a really corny Mr. Freeze joke, but I'm not going to. Like say I played this here. See how it keeps going? When you have the freeze option on, it freezes that area. See how it's not moving? So it'll just stay in that position. So yeah, I know I awkwardly did that. But here are the chops I did with this copy. I did quite a few here. I really like that tone. So I tried to do like little short chops. This one I added an additional reverb of Supermassive. I did a filter on this one. Did a reverse on this one. So if you need to go to reverse, you have a little button right here that lets you do that. Did a filter using the wavy. I was having a lot of fun, like really modulating and deconstructing these sounds, or not even deconstructing, just building new sounds out of what I was hearing. And then that right there. That one there, and I really slowed the tempo down of that section. So from there, I made another copy, and I really filtered the hell out of some of these chops. That's like a very dubby type of sound that I ended up coming up with that. So what's better than one echo? Two echoes, baby. So I put two echoes on that one. So that effect. I was using Supermassive, and they have a really dope preset. Again, this plugin is free. I use what's called carousel. So basically, what it reminds me is when you have the carousel when you're up front, and it goes around in a circle, then it's here, and then it comes right back around. It's kind of how that effect sounds like. Like you hear it, it goes away in the distance, and then it comes back. So as an example, play it again. Almost like a whipping effect, but like a slow carousel. That little tone right there. Little tone there. Yeah, a lot of little chops on that. I figured I'd just kind of start with our kind of main sample that we built this from. And then I added this little rain sample. Burial tends to use a lot of atmospheric sounds. I totally butchered that, but atmospheric sounds and just sounds that you would normally think not to put into a production. Burial tends to put that in a very cohesive way. So I was like, you know what? Let me try to find some type of nature sound. I found this really cool rain effect. So we had that there, and then I used arcade. I used the hooked line and the compromise kit. Really try to give it a very ethereal type of tone. A lot of verb. There's a lot of verb going on that one. This was a little tambourine groove. I'll get to the drums here in just a second. Little effect, little sweepy effect. Another little ear candy effect. Actually added this is like a lighter flick sound. And then I actually used an acapella from BlackStreet. In the track that Burial does called Argent, he actually takes a Ray J song and really flips the script on it. Tracklib did an awesome kind of sample flip breakdown of it. And so in doing that, it gave me inspiration to try to adjust another like kind of R&B vocal. So I found this BlackStreet Don't Leave Me. So this is kind of the chops that I did. I added this Tal chorus plugin and did that. And I pitched it up +2 with it as well. So when I ended up getting this track done, I called it I Go Crazy. So it just felt right on that. That's originally how it would go. I ended up not using those two. Once I had it to that speed, I really liked how that went with that. Then we had a sub, the squid sub. Really bassy. And I added the light sizzle crusher. Hopefully you can hear that in your headphones. It gives it a real like crunch to it using the light sizzle crusher. You got to be careful because it can get really annoying if you put it too much. So just be careful on that. Had another little, let me not go through these drums. Yeah, we pretty much got everything here. Then I had this little chord. I think I kind of sprinkled it in some spots there. I didn't use it too much. Another loop there. Another kind of atmospheric sound I was going to use, but I don't think I really used it too much in there. The drums, found a sample. Go figure, they called it Burial. It's very Burial inspired. I'll just play the whole thing. And then I really chopped how it was. So I'm just going to play it, the whole sample so you can hear it. And with this one, I used the Serum Effects. They had a really good plug-in chain that I felt like just gave me the grit and the space that I wanted these drums to sound, because it's a very distinct type of drum sound. It sounds very, if someone was going to call it like hard hitting nature drums, probably the best way I could describe it. So yeah, and then really just did a lot of just sample chopping with that, and just add a little little tone effects. So as far as with the drums, I did some kind of heavy chopping on here, and that was going to be right here. A lot of chopping on here. So in this one, I actually, normally I'll have my drums in mono because I want one to go after the other, or one kind of just repeat after the other. So I actually went poly so I can layer these together as far as them just being chops. Because if I don't do that, if I go to mono and play and hit play, it tends to kind of stagger certain things. So I kind of wanted it to kind of overlap a little bit. And then I did these little velocity changes just to add a little bit more bounce to it. So you can tell I had a velocity of 100 here, 25, 77. I was definitely rearranging some things as far as just velocities. Just because on those drum programs that Burial does, it has a really, you could tell there's a lot of volume changes and just has a really, really good pocket. So there's that one there. So with this one, I added this little section here. Oh no, my bad. It wasn't there. Let's go to this section here. There we go. Did a little bit more of a repeating snare kind of pattern. Again, little variations help. So again, just because it's a loop doesn't mean that you can't go back and really rearrange it and make it your own. I think some people stumble and just have the loop as it is and feel nervous, like, oh, what if I try to change it, this and that? I don't think it sounds right. Experiment, bro. Experiment. That's the goal. So we have that there. This little breakdown section. So in this little breakdown section, I kind of did this automation. It should be on this one here. I did a key shift automation. Just kind of show you what I did. So with this, I made an automation where it goes up and then it crazily goes down. So you can do these cool little pitch shifting, which it's subtle, but again, you can automate all these things here. People always tend to forget that you can kind of manipulate these things as well. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of play everything in its entirety as well, and then just kind of go through some other sections. So here we go. So with that, as far as how this intro was built, I made that second copy with little percussions. You're just kind of building this kind of anticipation. Kind of building it up more. And then I go to the section called One Bar Weird, where it just goes into this. That's where I kind of went to that weird little vocal, which then lets me go into the kind of meat and potatoes of the track. I added a little subtlety to then go to this next section where I start kind of hitting with that lower end bass. And I didn't really, typically I'll try to just follow along with the melody to build the bass. But this one, I just wanted the bass to just be like a hit, go away, hit, and go away. So we go back to this one here. That's it. Just a low little rumble. Which then this lets me introduce that vocal that I was going for. Just loop that real quick. Again, a little subtle change of the drum at the end. Again, it's just little variations. Double up on the kick. Then I go into the next section. That's when I start adding this other little drum loop percussion. What I'll do, I'm gonna solo the drums just so how you can hear the elements happening by themselves. This gives it a good groove. I'm put everything together. I go crazy, and then it goes into that breakdown. So I create this little 1-bar little section so I can then move on to the next part of the track. Again, at first when you're starting, this can be a little difficult at first, so keep it simple when you first start. My thing was just really listening to that burial track and just to get an idea of the format and then trying to input my own kind of sounds. So I used to have a bad case of loopitis as far as being stuck in a loop and not being able to construct a song. And using that technique really helped, of just writing down how the song goes, or just make notes on my phone of, okay, it goes this much. And then later you start progressing into learning, like, okay, I want to do this quick little breakdown section, and learning how to make things a bit more cohesive. When you first start, it's a bit more difficult. So keep it simple when you first start. So this is when I start introducing this vocal right here from the hooked kit. So like this here, I did like a mute automation for the drum because I really wanted this vocal to be present. I almost felt like it was like a choir and I wanted them to really shine. So in certain moments, I really wanted to mute certain things with the drum. So I did this mute automation here. Again, you can live record it, but I just end up automating it, in post, and essentially where I'm just picking where I want and creating the mute. The next section. I just kind of use this. This is kind of like the main crux of the song, and so I just kind of had those repeat here till I got to the end. But it was a lot of kind of A and B, where it's like the BlackStreet vocal will go, and then the arcade vocal will just kind of go back and forth, kind of like a seesaw kind of effect here. Like if I just solo these, you'll kind of see the seesaw effect that's happening. So they end up taking turns. So sometimes I'll have the BlackStreet vocal go 1 and 2, like 2 times of different sections, and then I'll go into the arcade. So it's always one acapella will go, and then the next one will happen. Then this one will go, and then this one will happen. I'll just start to slowly introduce everything else. So I ended up starting out, when I was trying to figure this whole section out, actually doing that. I had this little kind of hi-hat going to help me just try to build this kind of idea. And then I have the drums. Then bring the sub. And then just had those little ear candy sprinkles in there, like this little harp and this little effect here. So again, like once you kind of build with all the subtlety, it starts to really get, everything starts to hit on there. And yeah, I had a lot of fun making this track. I think the really definitive thing with this is definitely the drums. They're not your very typical type of drums, but again, it was a loop that I felt like really had that distinct style. And shout out to Oshi, who made the drum loop called Burial. That really helped me out to let me try to chop it how I wanted to. A lot of those sounds tend to have a lot of reverb, and it's not like your typical kind of snare sound. It definitely has its distinct characteristic on there. And I'll definitely put a project file so you can kind of check this out and see kind of how I constructed it, you know, on your own computer there. But other than that, that's pretty much how I made that track. I'll list it on it's on my, you know, Spotify. I released it a little while ago. Shout out to Waves, who made an incredible sample that he put on TrackLib for myself to have fun and create it. And so with that, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll put the full song right after this. And as I always say, I'm Gons. Keep having fun creating. Any questions you guys have, make sure to leave it in the comments. You have a great rest of your day. Peace.